Welcome to Inside Marywood Health Sciences, where it's all about real voices, real stories, real Marywood. I'm your host, Samantha Miko, and today we're focusing on a department dedicated to fueling healthier lives, improving human performance, and promoting wellness across the lifespan: health, nutrition, and exercise science. Joining me today is Lindsay Howard. Welcome to the podcast, Lindsay.
Thank you very much for having me.
Now, tell me a little bit about your title and what exactly you do here at Marywood.
So I serve as the department chair for the Health, Nutrition, and Exercise Science Department. And in that role, I oversee 7 programs. So health sciences, exercise science, health and physical education, nutrition and dietetics, and then we have 3 graduate level nutrition and dietetics programs.
So I ask a lot of people that come on the show, what inspired you to pursue nutrition, exercise science, health education? Like, what's your field? How did you get involved in it?
So a little convoluted. So I'll take this back a few years. So when I was choosing a major for college, I really didn't know. That's a tough decision to make when you're, 17 years old. What do you want to be when you grow up? I have no idea. But there were a few things that I did know, which led me to this. I knew I loved science. I loved being around athletics. I had a fascination for how the human body worked. And that's what led me to exercise science as an undergrad degree. And during undergrad, I kind of bounced around with different career paths, thoughts about physical therapy and, athletic training. And I was really gravitated towards strength and conditioning and then the nutrition side of things. So that's what led me to Marywood to pursue my master's degree in sports nutrition. And I've kind of combined the 2 fields at this point. And it's ironic that teaching is where I ended up, because that was never on the bingo card. And that the opportunity to teach here kind of popped up at a transition point in my life. And I said, it's only a year. Let me just give it a shot. And here we are. I'm finishing up my 9th year teaching full time here. And I absolutely love it. I love my job, love what I get to do. And it's ironic because it's not anything I ever intended to do.
Exactly.
Yes.
And we talked about that with the dean before, how she said she never thought she was going to be an educator. There was a long pathway to get to it, and it's nonlinear. So for people who don't want to be a teacher, what are the other career paths of an HNES?
There are a lot. I say it's a very unique department because not knocking any other program by any means, but you go into a program like education or something like architecture. So you're going to become an architect, right? Mm-hmm. So it's interesting, especially with exercise science and health sciences, that our students have the freedom to choose very, very different career paths in this allied health sort of umbrella. So the most popular ones, at least for our programs, obviously nutrition leads to a registered dietitian credential. But in exercise science, the most popular routes for our students are physical therapy, athletic training, occupational therapy, strength and conditioning, chiropractic. The list goes on. There are tons of very different careers. And then within those careers, very, very different types of settings that they could work in.
Mm-hmm. So with all of those said, is there something about your program or department that stands out at Marywood versus other colleges?
So I think that in this College of Health Sciences, I think that the programs that we have and the opportunity for interprofessional experiences are there. We have a ton of great programs in this college and within our department. And facilities wise, I'm assuming we're going to talk about facilities a little bit later, but
of course.
No, I think the variety in our programs, the close tie that we have with our athletics teams, the involvement with our students in our labs, classrooms, facilities, other organizations like Pacer Pantry, the fueling station for the athletes, all of those things kind of intertwine.
So you talked about the athletes. I want to talk a little bit about the myths of being a part of the health, nutrition, exercise science. Are only athletes a part of this? Are there people outside of the athletic world? What are some things that you wish that people would know coming into it?
Okay. So I hate to be, most of my answers are going to be gravitated towards exercise science because that's what I taught in for 7 years before becoming the chair. But forever, I sit over there in my office and I'm like, everybody on this campus just thinks we're over here doing bicep curls. And that's not what we do. We do a ton of other things. And I always like to highlight some things that we do, outside of just athletics, because I think people think exercise science, sports, sports athletes. We teach our students, and same thing with nutrition. We teach throughout the entire lifespan, the whole life cycle, all the way from pregnant females into infancy, adolescence, the geriatric population. We have specific courses on special populations. This past fall, we started a partnership with our SOAR and STRIVE programs on campus. So that was part of a exercise and wellness for special populations course. So our students got to really interact with those students. So they have various, intellectual disabilities, Down syndrome, things of that nature. So no, it's not just athletes. It is common misconception.
Hi, this is Brandon Farmer from Human Resources. You probably see me on campus delivering mail or helping with Pacey Pantry. With the warmer weather here, take some time to enjoy our beautiful campus and get those steps in the spring. See you outside.
So you mentioned in the first part about our facilities and everything. Let's start with courses. What are some foundational courses? What are some things that kids just get their feet wet with when they decide that they're going to be part of this department?
So we have a couple of intro courses. So we have intro to career courses in essentially all of the programs. So our students will take that their first semester in their first year. And that's really an opportunity for them to start to explore what their options are. Those courses incorporate job shadowing, some career readiness, just campus survival skills. So it's kind of like extended orientation. So those are really the foundational courses in conjunction with anatomy and physiology for all of our programs. That is the foundation. Unfortunately or fortunately, it is the foundation. It's something that they carry with them throughout the rest of their coursework, regardless of program.
And you said that you're not just doing bicep curls over there. What are some of the hands-on experiences? What are some of the labs and stuff that the kids get to do every day?
So I'll speak to nutrition first. So we have a very, very nice cooking lab upstairs in our health sciences building. And there are eight kitchen stations it's very, very stocked. All the supplies, all the equipment that they could possibly need. So they do start to get, not that that's another misconception that nutrition, they're just cooking over there, which is also false. It is a part of it. I think it's a major life skill for just health and wellness. Just having basic cooking skills, understanding of, ingredients and nutrients and things like that, that, really, really help people understand what it's like to have a healthy lifestyle. But yes, the cooking lab over there's also a cooking demonstration room. So it's like a classroom / cooking lab hybrid situation over there. And then over in the exercise science program, which is located in our Center for Athletics and Wellness, we have two labs. So we have our exercise science lab and we have our sports medicine lab, in addition to our classrooms, gym, fitness center, dance studio. We're very lucky to have all of those spaces over there. But aside from the bicep curls, we are testing essentially anything that you could want to know about the human body and how it functions from a performance standpoint, from a movement quality standpoint, from a rehabilitation standpoint, anything that you would possibly ever want to know. How many calories do you burn? What's your body fat percentage? What's your maximal aerobic capacity? What is the degrees of range of motion in your ankle? And how does that relate to your movement quality, your ability to just go about your life, prediction for injury risk assessment, all sorts of things like that.
With all these labs, is there something you think kids gravitate or the students gravitate towards more than others? Do you think they're more excited to get involved with certain ones?
So I think there's a couple of, we call them rites of passage in the exercise science program. So we have our first lab in our exercise physiology course is called a Wingate assessment. And it is essentially a 30-second all-out maximal bike test that assesses anaerobic capacity and lactate production. So we consider that, again, the rite of passage for our exercise science students and maybe health sciences and health and physical education students that take that course, that if you do the Wingate, when you survive the Wingate, you are now officially an exercise science major or,
Amazing.
part of the program.
Now, would you say it was an easy transition so, you said that it's hard as a 17-year-old deciding exactly what you want to do for the rest of your life.
Right.
Is there an easy transition to come in as a health science major and then decide later on if you want to go more towards nutrition or more towards exercise science?
Yes, absolutely. And I do think that all of our undergraduate programs, so health sciences, physical education, exercise science, and nutrition, they are very transfer friendly. And what I mean by that is, say a student starts their first semester in nutrition and then gravitates more towards exercise science, it's a very easy transition. There's a lot of overlapping coursework, and all of the faculty in our department are amazing advisors and, really help the students continue on the path without, extending their time here or adding a semester or anything like that. So I do think to specifically answer your question, in any of the degrees, I think it provides them a sense of comfort because they know they can kind of switch around if they wanted to, but they also know that the opportunities for when they leave here are also very vast. So it's not like when they pick a major, they are picking what they're doing for the rest of their life.
Hi, I'm Professor Dalton from Respiratory Therapy, reminding you to inhale confidence and exhale stress.
So there are a lot of in-house labs and a lot of experiences that they get to do in the classroom. What are some community programs, partnerships, internships? What are some things they could do outside of the classroom to help them in their career?
So in all of our programs, we have essentially required hours that they complete off campus. Sometimes they are actually on campus, but with different organizations. So I'll kind of go through each of them. So exercise science, our students do, like I mentioned in that intro course, they do 10 hours of job shadowing, which is just to get their feet wet. And then as they progress, they complete 2 120-hour internships, and they essentially are free to do those internships wherever they would like to. If it's back home, if it's across the country, if it's somewhere local. And we have this great network that we've built over the years, relationships with physical therapists and, smaller business owners, people that own their own facilities, the Wilkes-Barre-Scranton Penguins, a lot of, locally owned gyms, clinics, hospital systems, all of those things. So our students really get out, and that's when they really start to make the decision, like, can I really see myself pursuing this as a career that I get up and do every day, that I have passion in? And like I mentioned, they'll do 2 120-hour internships there. For health and physical education, they have to do field experience. So they're in a lot of local schools right from the jump. So their first year, they're doing field experience to prepare them for what it's like to work in a school system, private school, public school, what age group they are gravitating towards. So if they're, going more towards the older kids in the high schools or the young ones in the elementary schools. So like I said, the first year, so that really gives them that opportunity to see what it's like. Can I see myself doing this? Can I not? Because it's tough to make that translation. You learn about it in the classroom and you have an idea of what it's like, but until you're out there doing it, you don't really know. So that's their main experience. And lastly, for nutrition, so our undergraduate nutrition program does do some off-campus activities through parts of their coursework, but it's primarily at the master's level. So our master's nutrition students with 3 different master's degrees, so nutrition and dietetics, clinical nutrition, and sports and human performance nutrition. If they were interested in pursuing the registered dietitian credential, they also complete what's called supervised experiential learning, which is 1,000 hours, which is it's a far cry from the 10 hours of job shadowing freshman year, but 1,000 hours, and they are placed in very specific rotations. So they go through community nutrition, food systems management, medical nutrition therapy. They have the opportunity to go to places like CHOP, so the Children's Hospital in Philadelphia, local hospital systems, privately owned places, private practices, all of those things. So that internship, tied to coursework is what really prepares them for that registered dietitian exam.
Now, not just internships, but I'm sure everything involving this field has been changing a lot over the years. You've went through it. I'm sure all of your faculty have gone through it. What are some things that you're seeing that are starting to trend and be part of the everyday teaching that you're seeing nowadays?
I would say technology, 100%. In all of these fields, there is obviously a very human side of it. You're utilizing your brain to assess, feel, palpate, whatever it is, depending on what kind of career we're talking about. But I think that technology overall, and I don't just mean computers or AI or anything like that, but I mean data-driven assessments. So even things like we were just doing last week, I had a colleague come in. We were doing range of motion assessments, and if anybody's ever been to physical therapy, they've had what's called goniometry assessment done. It's a little
Love these
a
big
little
words.
tool. I know it's a little tool that measures your degrees of joint range of motion.
Okay.
So the colleague of mine brought in a few pieces of equipment that digitally do this for us. It cuts down, I would say, 80% of the time of the actual assessment. Extremely accurate. But it gives us an opportunity. That's just one example of how things are evolving technology-wise. But I do think overall, technology, obviously research, everything that we do is research-based, research-driven. So the more research comes out, the more studies are completed. That also shapes how we teach our courses, what we know now versus what we knew then, and then teaching our students, it takes a while for things to catch up. So what you're reading in your textbook, right, might not have the most current up-to-date thing. So it's important for all of us as faculty to really stay up on what is current and not just stick to, okay, this is what the textbook said, or this is what I learned when I was in school. So we really try to stay up on what is the latest, what equipment are people using out in these fields, and we try to get that. Now that's how we make our purchases for the lab. We want our students to be comfortable and knowledgeable using what they were actually going to use when they get out there.
This break is brought to you by Marywood's Office of Institutional Research, reminding you to step outside and soak up the warm spring sunshine on Main Street, Marywood. You deserve it.
So something I like to ask everybody that is on the show, why should they choose Marywood? What's your favorite part of Marywood?
I think this is a common answer to this question across the board when anybody has asked why Marywood, but it truly is the community. I do think that, the Marywood community in general, and I'm talking campus-wide, is welcoming. It's a great campus, the location of the campus. I mean, I could go on for days selling this school and selling our programs, but we're selling ourselves too. We're selling the experience that they have, the relationships that they'll build here, the outcomes that they should receive. It's a two-way street, so they have to buy in as well. But we are truthfully here to support them. We do this because we love it. And if you ask anybody what their favorite part of the job is seeing student growth. It is seeing, I know it sounds cliche, but it's seeing the kid that comes in as a quiet freshman, and then you talk to them 3 years after you graduate, and they're winning a Stanley Cup.
True.
as a partner in professional sports, or they just got hired at LSU, or they're working with they had their dream job working with females, or younger athletes, or neurological conditions, whatever it is, and that truly is the best part. So
that's so great to hear.
Mm-hmm.
Well, before we go, we'd like to do something a little fun at the end of each of our episodes. A little speed round, quick questions, quick answers, whatever comes to mind first. Are you ready?
Ready to go.
Morning or evening workouts?
Morning.
Cardio or strength training?
Both.
Favorite healthy snack?
This is tough. Okay, I'm a sucker for string cheese.
Me too. One exercise everyone should be doing daily?
Everyone? Stretch.
Coffee or a protein shake?
Hands down coffee. I have a Starbucks addiction.
I get that. What is your go-to pump-up song?
Just one?
I mean, you can give me a list.
Okay, this is really tough. I mean, anything upbeat. I tend to lean towards the heavier stuff when I work out.
Mm-hmm.
I can't think of a specific song though.
So you're not listening to any slow jazz or anything while you're working out?
Can't do it.
How about favorite sport?
This is an easy one. Basketball.
So now we're going to get into a couple hot takes. All right. Running, is it overrated or underrated?
I would say both. And if we have time, I'm going to explain.
Please do.
So overrated because I think there are many, many individuals that say, okay, I'm going to get into running, and it's not sustainable. So it should not be their starting point. they should start off with one, things that they enjoy. I know a lot of people that hate running.
I'm one of them.
Well, why would you run? Go for a walk, ride a bike, swim, do what you enjoy. That is the easiest thing in nutrition, exercise science, anything. You will stick to the things that you enjoy. But I do think maybe underrated in the terms of it's amazing for mental health, that if it's something that you enjoy. I can't tell you a time where I've gone for a run and I don't feel better when I'm finished. So I do think just being physically active, I think is underrated for a lot of people. I think people put a wall up with it sometimes, and just reminding yourself that when you're finished, you will feel fantastic. And if you can convince yourself of that, you'll be good to go.
I don't know if I could do that, but I'll keep that in the back of my mind. What is a popular fitness trend that you're hating on right now? All the TikTok stars out there and the Instagram influencers, are they posting a fitness trend that you're just not a fan of?
Fitness trend, I would say what annoys me most is just fitness trends. Just overall.
Yes.
I think that obviously these people are trying to make a living, and they're influencing, right? But as long as they're putting out good information, they are encouraging people to be the best versions of themselves and not trying to just sell a product. I think that's what gets me. If somebody's just in it to sell a product, whether or not it works, or misleading information, things like that.
What about a treadmill under your desk?
I would love a treadmill under my desk just to get some energy out. I do think slippery slope, because I think sometimes people get treadmill desks and they get a little obsessive with it, a little much. However, if you are somebody who possibly is stuck sitting at your desk for 8 hours a day, whatever it may be, and you don't have time to get out and walk, or if the weather's bad or anything like that, I think it could be a useful tool.
How about one piece of gym equipment that you wish would be banned forever? Is there one that you just really hate getting on at the gym? Or are you a gym nut and just love it altogether?
This one is stumping me. A piece of equipment that you'd ban forever.
How about is there a piece of equipment that you think the students dislike the most? Or am I asking the wrong question to an exercise science health professional that is just so into it? Mine would be the elliptical.
Okay, so there is, I truthfully don't even know what it's called, because it's kind of like an elliptical hybrid type of machine. And when I see people on the gym, I see how awful their biomechanics are. And they're on it for 45 minutes. And I'm like, ooh, knee valgus. Oh my gosh, please stop doing that. But no, I think all gym equipment can be functional and useful if it's used correctly. I would say, if I'm tweaking your question a little bit, I would say I can't stand when I see people incorrectly using gym equipment. And then you don't want to be that guy that goes in and tries to correct them, because it's not your place. But
have you ever corrected somebody at the gym?
I don't think I have.
No, you just silently judge.
Corrected. I have been.
Oh, really?
Many times. No, I would love to intervene, but not my place. So.
and last of all, what is the best advice you've been given, whether it's fitness, college, nutrition, anything of that sort?
Overall, I would say I use this phrase a lot with my students. It can apply to anything. That life is not linear, and whether that's a fitness journey, a nutrition journey, maybe you're taking up a new hobby, a skill, getting out of your comfort zone. Life is never a linear path. There are peaks and valleys, there are twists and turns. But if you stick to something, if it's something that you're passionate about, eventually that line will start to straighten out.
I love that. Well, thank you so much, Lindsay, for joining us and sharing your passion for teaching and your dedication to your students.
Absolutely.
And thank you to our listeners for tuning in to another episode of Inside Marywood Health Sciences. Real voices, real stories, real Marywood. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss future episodes. And if you enjoyed today's conversation, share it with a friend or a future pacer. To learn more about the College of Health Sciences, visit marywood.edu/healthsciences or follow us on Instagram at MarywoodCHS. Until next time, I'm Samantha Miko, and this has been Inside Marywood Health Sciences.